Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Ginge Pedro Show. I am, of course, Mr. Ginge Gingerton. Alongside me, my boy.
Pedro, how you doing, boys?
What's up, Pedro? Come on, you can do better than that. What was that?
Ah, oh, come
Come
on,
on.
man. This is I'm reading a lot of Stoic literature lately, so I'm trying to keep it minimalistic for a while. I
Okay.
don't know. Maybe that sucks. I'll go back to my old happy self.
No, you seem like a stoic. That's a good word, honestly. Sometimes I wonder about you if I've made you angry. It's just you're cold
I'm,
sometimes, even,
I'm
buddy.
cold. I'm a cold motherfucker.
You are. It's the,
No,
it's the
I'm not.
Panamanian blood. You got to stay cold down there. Okay, anyways. So yes, we have a very exciting guest here with us this week. He's been making the rounds for his latest Kickstarter, which where did I put it? I am actually a backer of the first one, so
There
we'll
you
get to talk about that. Hello. Good stuff. Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Madness Comic Network. This is our second week streaming over there on Pops's network. He's building a kind of a 24-hour comic channel cycle, if you will. So yeah, you can catch us over there right now as it happens. So hello there to all you Madness fans. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him on out.
Yeah.
Hello, Nandor. What's up, buddy?
Hey
All right.
guys, I have emerged from the foxhole.
There you
I
go.
like it.
There
There we
you
go. Yes, coming in and out of holes is the thing that gets discussed a lot on this show. Strangely.
Yes.
Yeah, when I picked that name for my brand, I'm not gonna lie, that did make itself known to me. I'm like, I wonder if that's the smartest word to use for my brand. It's a good opportunity for a lot of jokes for sure.
Yeah. I mean, that's the
It
thing. Like,
is.
you gotta allow like fans and people to be playful. Like, dude, like we
Yeah.
have to be ready to take a joke. So yeah, putting your face out there like that actually speaks good about you. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's cool.
I also think being able to take a joke, especially as a smaller creator, you're also building steam too, but just, as a human being is useful in terms of like making people and, have a little more endearment to you. And also, I wasn't trying to be rude there. Like, if I came across as rude.
Oh no, not
Sure.
at all, not at
Okay.
all. Yeah, yeah. I thought it was a
I'm
good opportunity
self-conscious
to
now.
make a joke. Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool. So, alrighty, great. So, Nandor, let's just kind of kick this thing off, buddy.
Yeah, let's do
Tell
it.
us a little bit about yourself. How long have you
Yeah.
been a creative, would you say?
Wow. I've been a creative person for most of my life. I'm a musician, and that was something I started learning drums when I was really young, probably
Oh,
about
cool.
like 9 or 10 years old.
Sweet.
And I took lessons for a little bit, but I
Mhm.
I'm mostly self-taught. I mean, like what I mean by that is like I had a few lessons and then I would just listen to music a lot and then I would
Mhm.
um uh investigate the beats and like kind of break down the beats and I learned by ear.
Mhm.
So I really like to absorb myself and in that. And so that was a big part of my childhood, was music. And then it started as like, ooh, I really like this music, and then I started really like listening to the words, listening to
Mhm.
lyrics to songs, and that got me even more interested in writing or poetry, or the
Mhm.
just how impactful words can be, and how they can change your life, and that bleeds into storytelling, and the movies and the TV shows and the comics that I would just be really into, and really would find myself absorbed in and kind of lost in. And
Mhm.
so yeah, I was a musician. I've been a musician for a while, and so I've always had that creative outlet. But I used to draw a lot too as a kid,
Oh, cool.
and
Actually, I have a question now.
yeah.
Which song drove you to storytelling? Because I mean, if I
Hmm.
say the song that caught my attention that way, I'm gonna date myself a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a song from the 80s. It was 99
Mambo
Rebellions.
number 5.
99 Rebellions by Nina Hagen. Like the whole thing, like they lit the balloons into the air and brought up like World War III. Like that to me, like was a story. It was like painting pictures in my head, and that song will always stay with me. So, which song did that to you?
Well, I really started like really listening to lyrics and following the songwriting like musicians from an early age, but like it was really like Billy Joel stuff,
Awesome. Yeah.
like Captain Jack, that song in particular, because that's such a human and like almost a depraved type of song. It's very raw, that song, and
Yeah.
you don't really think of Billy Joel in that way. He's kind of the epitome of American New Yorker, musician,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. But um, he had a lot of those great catchy hits, but then he would have the deep cuts, things that
Yeah.
if you really paid attention to his albums, and the progression of the album, and how it was laid out, when albums were important,
Yeah.
before it was all singles, and so
Thank you,
yeah,
Napster.
he was one of the biggest influences on me when I started to like. I used to be really obsessed with him. Like I read a biography about him, and just loved his story, and because he emerged at the time when a singer songwriter was kind of rare, because most people wrote songs for bands. You
Yeah,
would have a
exactly.
writer for a who wrote the song, and then the band would play the song. But he was one of the few people that did it all. But
Hmm.
so yeah, that's definitely the biggest one, I think, for me, influential with lyrics. But yeah, like, so I was, I did a lot of art as a kid. I would always try to draw every day, and so I loved that. My mom was an artist, so she kind of inspired that in me. And so yeah, my dad was a musician, my mom was the artist. So it's like I
Very
tried
nice.
to incorporate, yeah, like um my dad's definitely a lot more creative than my mom, but like I just took both of their trades, or those things that were their creative outlets, and kind of did my own versions of those growing up. And
Hmm.
so that was always, creativity was always very much encouraged, between myself and my brother. And so then eventually I got into being really interested in the people behind the curtain, the people behind the scenes. Like when you're reading a comic, you're really focused on the art, but like, who's the artist? And then when you're watching a movie, you really love the actors and the story that's being told, but like, who's the writer? And so I got really fascinated with like I would always watch special features, for movies, and like learn how things were done and how things were made. And
Mhm.
eventually it got to a point where I wanted to tell stories. I was really interested in journalism, and I would write blogs about video games growing up, and I would get chosen. Like some of my blogs when I was like 13 years old would get chosen as, like, on GameInformer.com would get chosen as like one of the best blogs of the week or something. And I was like, wow, like people are responding to me just having opinions on video games. But then that got a little old for me, and I wanted to do something more meaningful, and that's where storytelling, like, all of it sort of converged at that moment, where everything I loved about well, all of my creative outlets, it's like it all converged into wanting to be a writer, someone who wrote stories rather than just writing articles or writing blogs. I wanted to impact people. And because I realized, going back to songs, the music I would listen to, and the movies I'd watched, and the stories that I had just really been invested in, how much they had influenced me as a person, and sort of defined me as a person, and like how I view the world, and what is good and evil, and those like really like important questions and the things you're kind of navigating as a kid, growing up, and what's a good person, and who are you inspired by. And so yeah, that led me to wanting to write stories, and comics just seems so natural to me to fall into. It's like I didn't feel like I had the chops to do anything else when I started writing comics, and but for some reason, comics just really called to me, and since then, I've just been doing that ever since.
Yeah. When exactly did you chose the path of comic books?
I chose it in see, it would have been the end of 2015, beginning of 2016. I had just
Mm,
turned like 17 or 18, and
Jesus.
yeah, I got out of high school, and
Yeah.
it was one of those crossroads moments where you're like, what do I want to do with my life? I knew I wanted to be a writer, but did I want to go to school for that? And I did go to school for a year, and it was good. I was going for creative writing, but I was writing Seasons Volume 1 over here. I was writing that at the time, at the same time I was going to college. And um, rather than all the money I was earning to put into school, I did the responsible thing and put it into a comic. So um,
So cool, man.
I yeah, I don't know. It just I had such a passion and a love for it and for
Mhm.
storytelling, and um, I really believed in what I had to say. I really believed in the message I was bringing and the stories that I was coming up with, and it felt like I could do it, or at least I could try, and then if I failed, that's okay. But at least I would try it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very cool.
absolutely. Yeah, it's sort of that moment that I think I'm not sure if a lot of people come to or not really, but you do kind of just have to decide whether or not you're going to try a thing. You know what I mean? Regardless if you're going to fail, and that
Yeah,
does require a lot of risk and definitely some bravery. I think that's when people hear others talk about artists being brave, it does kind of
Mhm.
sound posh and
yeah,
snobby, right? But it's like,
Yeah.
no, I think it just means you do kind of have to risk enough of putting yourself out there, knowing a lot of people probably won't like it, especially starting
yeah.
out. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
that turns a lot of people off when you stink at something at first. So
I
Yeah,
agree.
right, right. Like, and it was something I was afraid of because I had never written a comic before.
Mm.
I mean, I had drawn comics, and I had, made up stories in my head, but I had never written anything down that was concrete and that I could it was almost like a challenge to myself. It's like, could I actually write a story with a beginning, middle, and end and have it make sense to people? And so I just like that's funny.
Yeah.
hey, finally, thank you.
Uh,
Sorry,
Yeah.
Pedro. Watch out. We're
I
up here on
saw.
the cross, buddy.
You know
Yeah,
what?
Watch out for
we're
you.
You
like
know what? Yeah.
Oh no. All right, we're
um
sorry. You can
oh,
cut
no,
that out.
no, no, it's great. But yeah, I just like I was willing to put myself out there, and I remember when I first started putting pages up of seasons online for free for
Mhm.
people to read.
Yeah.
There would be that occasional person that would comment and that would critique it and
Yeah.
criticize it, and um, but the excuse it was funny because at the time I don't really have that excuse anymore, even though I'm still on the younger side. But
Yeah.
like at the time, I was like, "Hey, man, I'm just like 18. Like I'm trying my best here."
Yeah.
Like,
That worked. That works like 3 times, and
yeah,
then it was
yeah,
like, yeah, whatever. You've been at it for a long while. Like that excuse is no longer
yeah. No, it's no longer an
viable.
excuse, But
Yeah.
I even looking back at my older stuff,
Mhm.
from a few years ago, like looking back at Seasons Volume 1 being my first book,
Hmm.
I still look at it and I'm really really proud of it. Like I
Oh,
don't
cool.
I don't I don't notice many things that I would change, and it's one of those stories that I wouldn't be able to write now, but I was able to write back then. It's it's sort of a time capsule for me where I'm just not in the same place mentally in that same headspace. So looking back on it, I'm almost like, who is that person? It's like there's me, but yeah, I just it's just not the same anymore.
It's like a mosquito in amber, just waiting for the mosquito to.
Interesting.
Yeah, very cool.
Could you give us just quickly a little bit about Seasons? Because it's sort of, from what I understand, I've heard you talk about it before, but it was a while back when I think you were doing the rounds for book 2. It's kind of a more introspective, sort of thoughtful journey anyways. Do you think that would change are you going forward? Like, looking back on book 1, how that's gonna, do you see big changes going forward with the story?
Well, I actually let's see, what does he say there? There are young people putting out. There are.
That's very true. Very true.
Age has nothing to do with quality. But
you know what?
Let me read this real quick here for the people out there in listening land. So Rex Doom says there are young people putting out comics that are doing much better jobs than older people.
No
yeah,
doubt, dude. No doubt.
Yeah, no,
and that's the thing. Like some old people maybe started their journey older, and that's another thing. Like age, like I don't know, like chronological age. It's not like guarantee that it's going to be a good product. You know. Because if a guy like, hey, I'm 46, but I started writing at 45, it's just 1 year of experience. Maybe he lived in a coal mine, but if his book is not about a coal mine, then he's a newbie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's kind of an equal playing field, no matter.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter where you begin.
You started at 17. You're now 25, right?
25. Yeah.
You've been at it for a good chunk.
Really, all of my 20s have been so far I've just been making comics as a side hustle. It's kind of how I describe it. And I would love to do it, of course, full time, as many people would, but it's a long process. But I've been able to put out a book or 2 a year, and so awesome. I'm proud of that. I think that's a good pace. I'd like to be faster, but everyone else would be,
exactly.
But so Seasons, moving forward with it, I had actually outlined and scripted most of the entire series a few years ago when I had started writing it and putting it all together. There are things that I have noticed going back to it. I have edited, but for the most part, it's I look at it, I'm like, it's solid. I'm happy with it. Cool. I like what I did with it, and also you can kind of fall into. I didn't want to fall into the trap of always editing yourself to an extent where the product no longer is recognizable to how you originally intended it to be. That can be, that's sort of a thing about specifically with Seasons is I wrote it in a time of my life, like I was saying earlier, where I'm just not that same person. So I don't want to knock that previous Nandor off the writer's chair and be like, hey, I know better than you, even though I've I'm the same person and I've learned a lot. But the only changes really are things that I think would sound better, or if there's dialogue, and if there's nothing really about the plot has changed, but the way maybe characters talk and the way things are paced out, because I've definitely
that's more fine tuning. Right?
You're one of my favorite expressions when it comes to art and creation is art is never it's something to the effect of art is always abandoned. You're never finished with it. You're never finished
it's
with
just
your
abandoned.
Art.
I think that's Scorsese or somebody. It's a big director, I think, that says that.
And that's always really stuck with me because as a creative person, you're always trying to look for things that could be better. And as a
Yeah.
perfectionist, you're always trying to ooh, maybe the
dude.
scene could be a little tighter, or is this should this really be that many pages or panels, or should it, you can just really mull it over until you go insane sometimes. So it's good to leave things where they are and move on to something else, because you're you're progressing in that way. But yeah, Seasons is going to be a 4-volume series. It volumes 1 and 2 are out right now. They're going to be so spring, summer, fall, and winter. It
Oh, cool.
is a supernatural superhero 1-year journey that follows this character named Fletcher, and his powers change depending upon the seasons of the year. So his power set in spring will change in summer, and then from summer to fall, and fall to winter. And with each book, with each season, he's dealing with not only like a physical like enemy or obstacle in his way, but like an emotional one. Something that he is going through in his life, and it's really about this person who has had a lot of baggage, and he is learning more about himself and the people around him, and this world that he's trying to be a better person, and what that looks like. He's really kind of thrust into this world that he wasn't expected to be in, and he's noticing things about himself and his life that he had never noticed before. And so a lot of the powers and a lot of the things he goes through are sort of metaphors for real things that everyday people go through. And so a lot of it is like this, it's very like fever dream, like it has this fever dream element to it, where you're sort of like is this really real, what's happening to him, or is this just like in his head? But that lends itself to that kind of experimental storytelling that I like to play with. And at the end of the day, I do ground it enough. But like as you go through it, you're really taking on this journey and this experience that you won't find in many stories that are like it. So that's kind of the innovative part of it that I really like to push.
That's awesome, man. So, okay, as a musician, what kind of music would you recommend for somebody who's reading Seasons?
Oh, that's a great question. I would listen to bands like the Classic Crime. That's one that I really like. They're a modern kind of alternative indie rock type of band. The Killers, they're like my all-time favorite band. Definitely listen to the Killers. And I would even probably throw in there some Billy Joel. There's some Billy Joel aspects, in it that I would, the relatable everyday everyman, that you can relate to. So I was listening to a lot of that at the time.
Awesome, dude.
Sweet. Very nice. We got a comment here from Rex Doom. He says, not getting hung up on one thing and moving on to something else is a thing I wish I had learned when I was much younger. Yeah, it's definitely, having a vision and sticking to something is a great skill to have, just at the very least. But, as with anything taken to the extreme there, it'll get you.
It can be detrimental. Like sometimes you have to allow ideas a little time to breathe.
Yeah.
So having several projects at the same time would allow you, like, okay, let me drop this for a little while, and then I'll come back, and then it's like, oh, like it happens with. Well, I mean, I'm an artist, I'm not a writer, so I'm kind of surrounded here, but I do have, to allow art to breathe sometimes, because you get hung up on a pose, and maybe you go back and I'll redo it all over again because it's not conveying the action I wanted to convey, and I was too hung on the details.
Yeah,
and I was so close on it, then I didn't see it. Then when I come back, I see the whole again. So maybe in writing you have a parallel to that. And yeah, dude, that don't get hung up on stuff. That if you take anything out from this show, don't get hung up.
Yeah,
right.
It's okay to let things sit. When I'm working on a script and I'm like you know, it's been a few hours and I'm trying to like nail this scene down. Sometimes you just gotta like stop holding so tight. You know, it's
Yeah,
like let it
exactly.
go. You know, you're sort of constricting the creativity, and I swear, like you will think of things. I don't know, while you're like working out or washing the dishes or taking the dog for a
Yeah.
walk, and you're just like,
Mhm.
oh, that's it. You know, like your subconscious is working. Like you're still working even when you're not in front of your computer or your notebook. Like there,
Mhm.
if you're creating, if you're trying to work through a problem, when it comes to stories, and even if it's something with your art, it's like you're still working on it. It's, you know, it's sort of like a 24/7 thing that you really can't shut off.
Mhm. So Rex here says, I found there are ideas I had years ago come back into something I'm currently working on, and that they turn out even better.
Yeah.
Right. Have you noticed any of that with your own writing? It's almost like your sort of inspirational themes will shine through. For me, it happens to be like dismembered body parts. Like I love having. I always
Huh?
like get a hand or some shit. Like just like crazy. I don't know. I'm a big Sam Raimi fan, or the Adams Family. Like just
Yeah.
that was stuff I was into early on. So for some reason, it's like I don't know. Body horror sneaks into my
Yeah,
writing a lot.
no, there are things that I don't realize until after I've like written it, where I'm like, oh, that's where that came from. You know,
Mhm.
if it's something if it's an idea I had years ago, or like something I used to watch a lot of, maybe as a kid or growing up, and then I'm writing and I'm thinking like, where, you know, where is this coming from? And then I can point to that, and I'm like, oh, you know, that's where it is. The first volume of Seasons in particular, it has some horror elements in it that, and I'm not, um I've never really written anything straight horror, but when I look back on the first volume, there are things in it that I'm like, ah, so that's like, because I was really into horror movies growing up, and into
Mhm.
just the fear of the dark and like
Mm.
shadows and things like that, and so that falls into Seasons. But yeah, don't become George Lucas.
No.
I love the man. He's like, you know, the
Mm.
probably, if not the biggest inspiration for me, you know, one of them. But yeah, you don't want to, um you don't always want to edit yourself too much, and then, you know,
Yeah.
kind of ruin your original vision.
Oh, you beat me to it. Yeah, it was all part of my original vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm more of a
No,
Frank Herbert fan myself, but yeah.
here's what I want to say about George Lucas, because for me, Star Wars was also just massively, like, honestly, it was probably my first love in entertainment. Like,
Yeah,
Mm.
I got put in front of the original trilogy as a kid, like
me
just
too.
early on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had an uncle that was 10 years older than me, and Star Wars was his jam. So, like, just he fed it to me like right away. So yeah. Um, and also here's the thing, like I've also kind of always been a fan of the the prequel trilogy, right?
Oh,
Like
me too.
even though
I'm an avid prequel lover. Like
Mm.
I
yeah,
don't care what anyone says, but I'm a huge prequel fan.
yes,
Yeah.
I think there's like sure there's like some stuff you could probably critique, you know, some dialogue and like performance issues, and but largely here's why I like them. Here's why I think at least they're much better than the we don't need to go down like a whole Star Wars rabbit
Yeah.
hole, but
Yeah.
um basically here's because when I watched what was it, The Force Awakens, that was the first one out
Hmm.
of the yeah,
Yeah. Out of the
The
that was
gate.
prequels.
based
Yeah.
yeah, that was basically just A New Hope kind of reworked, and
It was.
that
Yeah.
that to me would really bothered the shit out of me. And I
Me
here's
too.
what I'll give George Lucas's I'll give the prequels credit for being creative and going to new places. And by going to new places, you're gonna bother a lot of people. But I don't feel like any of those
Oh,
prequel trilogies were
dude.
reworkings of what
Uh,
he made originally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
but there's a lot of things that like George Lucas was picking up from a lot of like cultural, I don't know, vectors. for example, like the whole idea of the Clone Wars came from Valerian. I don't know if you're familiar with that comic
Mhm.
book.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a clone army in Valerian, and Valerian precedes. And the thing is that it was only mentioned in A New Hope, like, oh, you fought in the Clone Wars, like that was
Yeah.
it.
Right.
And when he came with the prequels, and we see the Clone Wars, I was expecting Valerian because I've already read it before, like those movies came out, and what they gave me was like, oh, it's like a proto stormtrooper. Like, dude, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of merits in the prequels, and the thing is, like, I mean, I was 3 years old when A New Hope came out, so I didn't see that on the cinemas, but I did catch the cinemas for Empire and Return of the Jedi. So I was in Panama
Cool,
City,
man.
sitting
I'm
on
so
a coconut.
jealous. Yeah.
Sitting on a
Right on.
coconut watching that movie. And yeah, dude, like the whimsy and what it did to kids' psyche at that time. Because, dude, like the whole thing, like, here comes the movie, here comes the toys. It was non-existent before Star Wars. Like, maybe you can get like a Flash Gordon like ship that looked like a dick.
Yeah.
And maybe you get like Micronauts. Micronauts were a huge thing. I don't know if you know what that was.
Mm-mm. No.
Micronauts were this like dolls that had like a transparent body and like a silver-plated head and hands, and they get like attachments. Like, it was weird. It was very like 70s. Like, if you were playing in a world, Metropolis. You remember that black and white movie with the automaton thing?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it looked like a dystopian future for little kids. That was
Okay.
That was what Micronauts. At least that's what it told to me. So, dude, when Star Wars came about, and you can see like the creative engine going about, because you'll get like the X-Wing. Okay, I get the X-Wing. Then you get like the TIE Fighter. Like, oh, I got the TIE Fighter. Like, oh, somebody bought the Millennium Falcon. But there were other ships that weren't in the movie, that they were just made by Kenner. And you could see like the production didn't have its hands. They were butt ugly ships. It's like, dude, this is not Lucas. But yeah, like, you can put a Stormtrooper in it, so people bought it. Like, dude, like, people would capture it. And now Star Wars is dormant.
It's a way of capturing children's imagination.
Yeah, it was
right.
Just incredible.
I just want to read this.
Yeah.
I just want to read this comment real quick from Ichthus. Inspiration or ideas tend to sneak up on you when you do mundane activities. I swear I would get ideas just by mowing my lawn, and boom, idea of a story. Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And just a little exercise that I like to do, and it almost just kind of happens, I guess, automatically at this point. We were talking about music inspiring you. Like, for me, when I hear lyrics that are interesting, like, a lot of the times it'll sort of put a comic story in my head. Like, I like to take interesting lyrics and create characters, or just whole ideas out of somebody else's lyrics. So, it's not that you're sort of borrowing I guess you are kind of borrowing their idea, but it is more like directly inspired from just hearing something like, ooh, that would make a great story.
So if you listen to a song by Lizzo, what would you write?
I don't know. It's got to be a big wet ass, I'm assuming.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I've never listened to it.
There you go. So. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's something I love about like listening to music, is like it makes you picture things. It's almost like reading a book in the way that it's like it's personal to you, because what you're imagining when you're reading a novel, someone else isn't going to picture it the same way. So when you're listening to a song, you're doing that same exact thing, and you're picturing a mood and a face or faces or a scene, and it's you're creating your own story, your own interpretation of that song, and that's just one of the most magical things that music does, and it does inspire stories. It's like you can there's no doubt that a lot of great movies and novels were inspired by a song that someone heard one day, and it just created this vision of, what if I continued that song, the story in that song, or what if these characters were real? And so that's really something else.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right, I'm glad we can all agree. Hooray! Let's put that to bed. So we're just a little bit past the halfway mark. So we definitely got to talk about Man-Child. That's why
Yeah.
it came out today. So let me bring that up on the. Let's get that up. Yeah, what am I doing?
Yeah, we're getting down to the wire. It's
Yeah,
an exciting week.
Yeah.
Okay, here we
Awesome,
go.
man.
All right, almost there. I got a feeling you're gonna make it, buddy.
Yeah, you're gonna make it.
Right at the stretch here.
Yeah, yeah, we're like at I think we're just a little over $600 away from making it. So,
Oh, dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really hoping. You know, it's been a hard push, and I've heard a lot of other Kickstarter campaigns. A lot of Kickstarter campaigns have been launching this season. You know, a lot of crowdfunding campaigns. So, it's been very competitive. But yeah, I'm really optimistic, and yeah, we're having a great campaign.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Got Ichthus. Man-Child is a fun read.
Yeah, he's awesome.
It is a fun read. I read it right before the show here. I'm gonna have my copy. Let me just do the. Hold up. Oh,
awesome.
Very nice. Yeah, really enjoyed it. It's
yeah. Thank you for supporting it, man.
Dude, the love. The love letter to Stan Lee.
This is a filthy accusation right here. Are you taking like notes from Rex's life, Nandor?
I'm taking shots at everyone I know. Yeah. No, I'm taking shots at myself. You know. But I did my name here on StreamYard. You know, is the Man-Child. So.
Right, I noticed that.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Very cool.
So give us, for those that are new to, this is their first time seeing Man-Child. Could you give us what can we kind of expect to get into the first book, and then let's kind of catch us up, and then let's talk about book number 2.
Yeah. So Man-Child, as you mentioned, it is my love letter to Silver Age comics, to Stan Lee and Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby. It was birthed from my grieving process after Stan Lee passed away, and so I wanted to do something in his honor, but I didn't want to do just another throwback vintage book. I wanted to put my own spin on it, and have it have its own identity. And so what I did was, the story that you read is you're reading 2 stories at the same time, and one of them is following Rufus, who's this comic book nerd, and the other is following the Monarch Crier, who's the superhero. And the mystery is how the 2 stories relate, why you're reading these at the same time, and what in Rufus's life might mimic what's happening in the fantasy world, and what is happening in the fantasy world that might relate to Rufus. So it's bridging reality and fantasy, and it's a commentary on escapism and that sense of being lost in an unreal world. And it's very meta in that way, because you're reading a fake story within a fake story, and reading a fantasy within a fantasy. And but yeah, it's the book and the series is a constant juxtaposition of reality and fantasy, and the real person who is Rufus, and then the superhero, the person you want to be. And it's what's so fun about it too is you're really getting the best of both worlds, as it's a celebration of fandom, because you're reading about people that you would meet at the comic book store, and then you're also getting the superhero adventure that's told in the Silver Age style. And it's such a fun book. There's a lot of humor to it, a lot of heart. And by the end of it, we're going to be introducing a lot of different characters, and there's this really great arc that Rufus is going to be going through. It's sort of on the nose, but it's like the butterfly character again is a metaphor for transformation, for metamorphosis, and what Rufus will have to face And so yeah, it's a fun story that really dives deep into what it means to be a fan and what it means to be lost in a superhero world.
Right. If you don't mind, I'd like to just share that the page where Rufus finds out that Stu Leeds died.
Yeah, for sure.
Because this page hit kind of hard, but it also did make me chuckle a little bit. Like I got a slight laugh, and then I was like, "Oh, damn!" So just the way he handles it. It's like the name Stu Leeds made me laugh, but then
yeah, right.
You sit and think about it, and you're like, "Well, shit, man, Stu Leeds is dead." Damn.
Yeah, dude.
So yeah, good stuff, buddy. I also really love the artist Jay. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name.
Yeah, Jay Mazar. Yeah,
I really love his style. Classic Silver Age. You know what I mean? Jack Kirby-esque.
Yeah, no, there's definitely that vibe for him. He what's so cool about Jay is he did a lot of noir stuff, and
yes.
he never really did a lot of superhero stuff. And so when I approached him, he was kind of unsure, like am I the right guy? But like he had done these superhero pinups, and they were just like amazing, and I knew he was like the perfect person. And you really do see it in the book. I mean, he's doing amazing work, and with all the action scenes and the way he's able to draw like the Monarch Crier, and it's really cool to see come to life.
All right, and I'm not sure. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I think the show's. I think we've gone past that at this point. But
yeah, it is right there, I guess, in the image. Yeah.
All right, good. We get by a technicality.
Confirmed. Yes.
Yeah. Things to live by.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah.
To Variety Content Entertainment, would you guys ever want to collab? I love talking to indie comic creators. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who you're referring to, but if it's to us, absolutely. And it sounds like Nandor might be interested as well. So
yeah.
All right.
I mean, Nandor's doing the round, so that would yeah.
And we've got 4 days left to go, so not to sort of volunteer Nandor up here on a silver platter, but
yeah. But,
hey, I'm willing to be on anyone who will have me in this final week. So.
Oh my God, those are famous. Dude, that's how you disappear. Don't do that.
Yeah,
it's like day two, and you just don't see him anymore.
Yeah, and someone pays
That might be the push, buddy. You might have to sort of like fake a kidnapping and just like put pictures of yourself like tied up and like $200 and free name.
Yeah. Have you seen this guy on a milk carton and shit? Yeah.
He'll release me. The kidnapper will release me if we fund, you know. So.
Very convenient.
Oh no.
Okay, so let's hit this trailer. I'd love to see what you got going here.
Yeah,
all right.
Y'all let me know if that's too loud or can y'all hear it? Is that good?
It's good, yeah.
Okay. All right, so I got to ask right away. I love the music, but is this yours or is this?
Yeah, it's actually my brother. He composed this.
Oh, nice.
Dude.
Yeah, and he did all the instrumentation. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm award-winning comic book writer Nandor Fox Shaffer, and welcome to my 5th Kickstarter campaign where, with your support, we hope to raise enough funds for the production and printing of Man-Child Issue 2. Spinning directly out of the events of Man-Child Issue 1, Monarch Crier is held captive on Professor Pilgrim's mysterious island.
I hope it wouldn't be rude if I pause.
Oh no, you're fine. Yeah. I mean, we can go into it, but yeah, the trailer's just there to explain where we are with the series and showing off the variant covers and the different rewards. So that's something we can get into right now. But yeah, it's
great.
Yeah,
my brother. We have the man here in person. Let's why waste our time with the trailer? But yeah, we're really coming off the cusp of a really big cliffhanger at the end of issue 1 with the Monarch Crier being transported to this mysterious island that Professor Pilgrim has sort of isolated from the world, and we'll see more of that in this issue and kind of where
where Monarch Crier is, and we're also following Rufus. He's with his friends to see the new superhero film that's premiering. It's a midnight showing, and so you get best of both worlds here with the second issue, and we get to learn more. We get little hints more about the connection between these two worlds.
Alrighty. Okay, very nice. Yes. Definitely enjoyed the first book. Like you mentioned, there's a lot of humor, a lot of heart too. I mean, it's I think it should be unsurprising considering, even though I haven't read Seasons, I get the feeling from you that as a writer, you tend to lean more towards the thoughtful, you know.
Yeah, I do. I mean,
yeah.
I'm I don't know if existential is the right word, but I'm definitely I like making people think, and I like making people reflect on their own life and mostly relate. You know, it's about relating.
You're making me think right now.
Yeah.
Professor Pilgrim. Professor Pilgrim, is that like an Amish scientist? Like, what's up?
No, he's not Amish, but no, he is. He is the main villain of the story, and we'll learn more about him throughout the series.
Great name, man! Like, it got the gears going right away. Wait, Professor Pilgrim. Wow. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Just a really pissed off Quaker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So this
Very
is
cool.
Professor Pilgrim right here, right?
Yeah. He is. Yeah. That's a hollow projection of him.
Very nice. So, could you talk a little bit about the design process? How much of the original, or how much of what we're seeing here in terms of character designs was you, or did you let Jay sort of have some fun, or how did that go?
Yeah, actually, no. It's really, I'd probably say it's 50-50 or 60-40. I with me kind of doing a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to how I wanted these characters to look and the color palettes for them. I knew for the Monarch Crier, since his wings were going to be the Monarch butterfly wings, that his main bodysuit would have to be really simplistic because he already has such a rich, his wings are so rich and visually rich. So I didn't want anything to be clashing with that. And I wanted his design to sort of be a mashup between like Spider-Man, Ant-Man, and Black Bolt. That's sort of the where I wanted to end it, and I wanted it to have this very he is an insect, so it has that 60s vibe to him, and we wanted to do the shoulder pads and the knee pads, and have the white and black and orange be just staples to his suit, and also just a simple butterfly image for his logo, and something that is instantly recognizable, and nothing too complicated. So there's definitely those design elements there.
Here's what I'll say though, for anybody that might think just because the man's dressed in a butterfly costume that he's not tough. I mean, that arm looks like it's gonna hurt if it pops you in the face.
Oh yeah, no, he has enhanced physical capabilities. So there's definitely he's a foe to be reckoned with. He's not just a normal man in a butterfly costume, but he actually has even though that would be pretty fun, he definitely has some I mean,
it's a big arm right there. It's also just a nicely drawn arm, but I mean, as far as like, this dude's can lift. He's no string bean over here, this guy.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's the other like emasculating element. Like, you allowed a butterfly to kick your ass?
Yeah, see, that's perfect. I wanted, it's that underdog, it's like, especially you see it here with this like massive robot that he's having to face. It's like is this butterfly character going to beat this skyscraper size like kaiju robot?
Exactly.
So it
very cool design though, the robot. Like, dude,
yeah,
I like it a lot. Very Star Trek, very like late 60s, early 70s sci-fi. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, that was definitely Jay did the heavy lifting for that. I told him I wanted something that was like the Sentinels from the X-Men, but also like the Kirby sensibilities
Mhm.
of like the Celestials and you know that like clean design elements. You know,
Yeah.
everything's very clean, and but still you get the point across.
I'm not sure if this was up while I was looking on the other page or not, but I think Rex actually kind of makes a good point here. You know, not to knock on anybody else's project, but there
No.
is, and it makes sense because of the era, you know, which we all grew up in, and you know how big those '90s guys were. But you know, at the same time, that there is a lot of '90s stuff out there, and this book has a distinctly different flavor. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
very nice.
There's space for everything, man, and everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh.
Yes, and with this being a love letter to, you know, Stan Lee, of course, and you know, like as you say,
The Silver
Stan
Age. Yeah.
Ditko and right, Jack Kirby. So, absolutely, okay, very cool. So let's see, what do we got here on the? Could you walk us through the perks here as we scroll through?
Definitely. So, yeah, you can get the PDF for issue 2 for $5. So if you're a digital reader, very affordable there. You know, if you're international, you know, and you don't want to pay for international shipping, there's the book right there. You can get both issues 1 and 2 for $10. So if you want to catch up digitally, and then the standard is $10. So the book itself is $10. And that is the standard cover by Jay Mazar, the series artist.
How many pages is the book?
It's going to be 28 pages.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then you can get the book signed by me, and then with that art print by Stephen Perkins. It's a Kickstarter exclusive art print.
Real quick, because now something just came to mind. Do you have that? I forget the artist, but you had commissioned a bunch of really fantastic artists for the previous campaign. But there was one in particular that did he was like a really, it was like a watercolor piece. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, so I have there's a couple. There's Tony Harris, there's Marco Rudy, which I don't, is it the one that's below right there that you're thinking about, or is it from issue 1?
It's from issue 1. I think you'd had it framed at some point, or
yeah. I think it's the Tony Harris one you're thinking about. So yeah, I do have that. I do own that one.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so you can get the book signed with the art print, and then you can get the Marco Rudy variant cover, which I did get that original art piece just the other day. Marco sent it to me, and that is traditionally painted with oil painting. So it's a beautiful piece.
Very nice. Okay. And we got the Jim Rugg variant.
Yeah, Jim Rugg variant cover. Anyone who watches Cartoonist Kayfabe YouTube channel, Jim Rugg and Ed Piskor talk comics all day long, and Jim Rugg did everything in that cover. He did the logo, he did the pencils, inks, and colors. So that was a dream come true, being able to work with him.
Awesome.
Very nice. Yeah, absolutely. Looks great too. Love the angle. Yeah.
Yeah. So then if you want to catch up with issues 1 and 2, you know, for $20, you get like 50 pages of comics right there.
Sweet.
That's a great deal there.
Yeah. Not bad. Alrighty.
Then you
so
can
for
get
25.
it signed. Yeah, you can get it signed with the art print. So very simple. You know, everything as we go through is just pretty much cumulative. You know, it adds on to the next one. We do have a retailer bundle. I'm really excited about you know, giving people, if they've never read any of my work, the Foxhole Comics bundle. And so that bundle lets you get every book I've done, and at a really great deal, discounted price, where you get over 300 pages of comics. You get 2 hardcovers, which is Seasons Volumes 1 and 2. You get Lifeline, which is my one-shot graphic novel I did, which I won the Indie Volt Comic Book Award for Best Writer and Best Comic for 2021. So I'm really proud of that book. Yeah. And then
could you give us just
congrats, buddy.
No, I was just curious. What's what was Lifeline about?
Yeah, so Lifeline was the book I did in between seasons, volumes 1 and 2, and I worked with 7 different artists from all around the world. It is a uh, basic drama that tells the story of a young boy all the way to an elderly man, and you see his life through the eyes of those closest to him. So, like, chapter 1 is told from the perspective of his father. Chapter 2 is told from the perspective of his who will come to be known as his wife. Like, it's a girl he meets in high school, and then
Hmm.
chapter 3 is told from the perspective of his best friend. And each chapter takes place in a different decade of this character's life, and so
Hmm.
that's why the art style changes. It changes
Mm.
for the mood and also for the character that's growing older. And so his name is Lewis, and it's a story about legacy. It's a story about kind of facing your own mortality and the people that are important to you and how your life reverberates around for these other people too. You know
Hmm.
how meaningful your life is in the eyes of these others.
Wow, man, that sounds incredible. Uh,
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it. It's one of those books that when I do like signings and conventions, it's not very there's not a lot of pop to it, because it's definitely a melancholic story. It's a somber story, but I love finding those people that come up to my table, and that's exactly what they're looking for, and they pick that up, and they're like, out of everything I have, they want that book, and it makes me
Hmm.
really happy because you know it, it's I'm able to write different things and people, and it resonates with different people.
Yeah. Definitely sort of living the dream, not just,
Yeah.
writing comic books of any genre that people would be, interested in reading. It would be great. But as a writer, having the ability to, go to whatever genre you want to do and be able to find some people
Yeah.
interested definitely is, it's got to feel extra good. Okay, very nice. Right on, bro. That sounds like a great
Yeah.
book. Very cool.
Thank you. Yeah, and so yeah, we also are allowing people to get an original ink sketch by Jay Mazar, the artist. That piece right there that we see on the screen, that's actually an example of a sketch that someone got from issue 1. So
Oh,
it's a pretty big. It's not like a 5x7 postcard sketch or anything. It's like a full page sketch that's
nice.
inked by Jay, and so you're getting a really good quality there. And then of course you get the book signed with the art print, and then your name in the acknowledgments.
Very nice. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, and Jay, it's that he's definitely nailed the like you said, he came from noir comics, and I follow Jay on Twitter, and when he
Yeah,
posts a lot of that noir stuff, and I'm a big fan of heavy blacks anyways. It's just, so I also like noir style comics, but
me too, me
yeah,
too.
yeah. Jay's definitely got that the blacks nailed. Sounds wrong, but anyways. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. Dude, don't go there.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere, buddy.
Dude, if somebody's talking about blacks here, it's gonna be me. So yeah, I really
Well,
enjoy
all
the
right.
heavy
That's
blacks.
okay.
Oh
Anyway,
no.
Pedro likes his chocolate. Okay. Hopefully, we
Yeah,
don't get
I did.
Pops in trouble. All right. So,
No, no, we
but
won't.
anyways, all right. So for $150 here, let's move on. We've got Drawn into Man Child number 2. That is awesome.
Uh,
So
awesome,
is it
dude.
this scene
Yeah,
right
if you
here?
want to yeah, like if you want to be drawn like with Rufus and his friends like at the movie theater, like here you go, like if you want to hang out with them at the movie theater. It was really cool because in the first book we actually got to have a couple people drawn in, and one of them actually had some bit of dialogue. So that's always a possibility. It really depends on the perfect opportunity to put a person in a comic and how they fit into it. But you'll definitely be seen, and you may even be able to like have a little interaction with the characters. So
All right. Very nice.
Yeah, dude, that's
Yeah, those,
great. Like
those
sometimes people get
go
drawn
ahead.
into
Yeah.
comics just to die. So you just haven't
Yeah,
done
I know. I've
interact.
seen those. I've seen those. That's actually
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, but this is like a breath of fresh air. Look, you interact, and your character will get to go home to his
Yeah.
imaginary kids or whatever.
Yeah.
There you go. You have a whole little a side family in another universe somewhere
Yeah.
for $150. That's not a bad
Yeah.
deal, I think.
No,
Or just
not
depends.
at all.
No, not at all. Yeah, you get everything. And then yeah, for $50 more, you get an original page from the book, and then you get everything previously.
Oh, cool.
All right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. So Jay does all this physically, and does he color it digitally? He scans it in and colors it, or?
He does. Yeah.
All right. And we got Ichthus chiming in here. Pedro's villainous chuckle. This is just the beginning of his origin story. I assure you, this man's more devious than he lets on.
You have
Don't
no idea.
Don't let the bald head fool you.
Yeah, don't allow my stoic demeanor to fool you.
Okay, so I really love this piece. I love the colors.
Oh yeah,
I
dude.
know,
The
I know
dynamics,
this
dude.
color palette. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love how the
I just
wings
love
are
galaxy colors.
transparent. You
Yeah,
know?
like even though it's painterly, it has a lot of movement, and that's really hard to accomplish. Like sometimes people will go like really painterly, but the poses are very, very stiff.
Yeah.
And that like fights against. But this is very dynamic. Like I like it a lot. And dude, like what they did with the lights, like the rim lighting on the wings, and dude, very good work.
Very nice. Yeah, Stephen Perkins. Okay, very nice. Very nice job,
Yeah.
Stephen. Hats off to you. Where did
Yeah.
you meet Stephen? Or how do you, because you do commission a lot of artists for each campaign.
Yeah.
What do you think is for the best way of going about finding artists you found?
For me, it's been, you find everything through social media, but then like if the artist has a website, and you want to go to that website and email them, look at their contact info and how they would prefer to be emailed with like business inquiries or commission inquiries. Sometimes, artists will respond, to like DMs, like over Twitter or Instagram. But I find that the best way to get a hold of people is looking to see if they have an email or a commission account or even an artist agent that they have, and to reach out to them and ask. So I just really scour the internet for artists that I really enjoy their work, and I try. I look at everything I can to find, okay, how would they prefer to be contacted, and what's, what platform do they use the most? So if I do reach out to them over social media, that they'll probably see it. So you just got to try. You got to be persistent. That's what I've learned. Some people might not see your first message, so it's good to message again and be like, hey, I don't know if you saw my first message, but I'm looking for I'm looking for an artist for a cover or for a pinup or whatever, and it has worked out really well. I'm actually surprised with the amount of people I've been able to.
Yeah, dude, that's a great strategy.
Yeah.
So guys, be persistent. That will get you
Absolutely
to work with different artists, and it will get you me too. So
yeah.
Watch out for that.
Yeah.
Choose your arenas wisely. Where to be persistent.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. But also, just sort of contacting people through their preferred method is kind of the way to go as well. Just make it easier. Some people just won't respond unless you contact their business email or something.
Yeah. I mean, because to them it shows you're putting in the effort, to get to their channels, on their terms.
True. At the end of the day, that's you do kind of have to meet them where they want to be. You just gotta meet somebody halfway. Damn it.
I only respond to nude pics. That's how Ginge got in contact with me.
They get your attention right away.
Yeah, it was very classy.
I've regretted it to this day, but here we are. So
yeah, exactly.
Pedro's
Is that how you guys met?
Yeah, James is like, hey Pedro, do you want to make a trailer for me? It's like, I need some pics. Like I don't
like where this is going. This is too much. This is almost being confident.
Okay.
All right. Anyways,
Sorry, guys.
let's
I
move on.
had some edibles. Sorry, I had some edibles.
So yeah, these are the add-ons for the campaign, and these are the different covers that you can get. Yeah, from
And it was
issue
the Tony
1.
Harris cover.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
This was the piece. Yeah, man, this is incredible. Love this.
Thank you. Yeah, that was I mean, I love all of the covers, but being able to work with him was still to this day, I can't believe it.
So what kind of paper did he do the original piece on? Was because this is just really interesting looking, like the color,
it's
offset color, like.
Yeah, that's actually the color of the paper. It was like this this really rough cardstock, something that I know there's a term for it, but it wasn't just regular comic book board art or anything like that. It was a lot sturdier, a lot it had texture to it, and it was dark like that. Yeah.
So what was this, colored pencil or?
Yeah, it was penciled and then paints. Yeah.
Dude, right on. Very, very nice. Very cool. So all of these right here, from here to here, are variant covers on issue 1. Is that correct?
Yeah. So if if you're catching up, or if you got issue 1 but you missed out on a variant cover, you have that ability to get that. But I wanted to have those available for people that might be discovering Manchild for the first time, and if they see Tony Harris cover, they're like, oh crap, and they want that. So it is available.
Dude, it's a beaut, man. That's a sweet cover. Oh, they're all great, but definitely just I don't know, the look of that one's awesome. Okay, so stretch goals. Before we wrap this thing up here, we got this. This is fun. Who did this?
So that's actually a local artist friend of mine. He goes by Mr. Abstracto, and he definitely follow him for sure. But he does really great cartoons and cartoonist art, kind of like in the vein of like a Scotty Young. And so if we hit our first stretch goal, which is 5,500, we're going to get every backer who backs at a physical reward tier will get that sticker in their package.
Nice. Hell yeah. Absolutely. That looks great.
Thank you.
Very cool. Okay, so carrying on, we got a man-child pin, a trading card, and then the t-shirt and expedited shipping. All right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, right. Let's see here. What else do we got? Okay.
Very simple. Like it.
Yep. The old keep it simple, stupid. Can't argue with that.
Yeah. Just trying to keep it as streamlined as possible, and make it easy. It's always difficult when you have so much great art, because you don't want the backer to have to scroll through so much. But there's just a lot of great stuff to look at for sure.
So before we wrap this thing up and get out of here, you're on, is this campaign number 6 or number 5 for you? It says 5 created, but
it's so it's my 5th Kickstarter campaign, but it is my 6th crowdfunding campaign. I did an IndieGoGo for Seasons Volumes 1 and 2 a year or 2 ago, because I'd never been on IndieGoGo before, and I wanted to put it on there. And so I'm definitely more comfortable with Kickstarter, but I like using IndieGoGo too. It's a good platform.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll be heading to Kickstarter here soon. That's a little spoiler. But yes, definitely interested in getting to know the behind the scenes of Kickstarter.
I find it to be really really user friendly. So I don't think you'll have a hard time.
All right. Yeah, I like the sound of that. Nobody likes a pain in the ass, really. Just a general rule of thumb.
Some do, but
some do. You don't know. You got me there. Okay, guys. So that was Man-Child issues 1 and 2 on Kickstarter. We've got 3 days left to go, and not that far away from the goal at all.
Yeah.
If you like Nandor, is there anything? Yes, please. Is there anything you want to add before we boogie on out?
No, I mean, other than I really feel like this book is a great introduction into superhero stories. You know, maybe if you have always been kind of on the fence when it comes to superhero books, or if you're kind of tired of modern day superhero storytelling, this is the book for you. It's also a great book to share with um, your parents or older people who are really into this style of comics and the comics they grew up with. It brings you back to your childhood, and that was a big part of what I wanted to bring with this story. And so if you feel like anyone out there is into that, and if you know someone who would be interested in that, man child is definitely
Dude,
the book for them.
best of luck, Nandor, dude. The book looks awesome, dude. We're gonna get the word out, and
Yeah.
dude, you're gonna fund this thing.
That's right. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make it. It ends, October 1st at 7 p.m. Central.
All right.
All right. Do
Do
you
your
have
thing.
a closeout stream ahead of time set up? You got
I'm
where can
think
people
I'm
find you?
I don't have one. I'll either do it on my channel, or if I can find someone to do it on their channel who will have me, I'll definitely do that. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly where yet.
Okay.
October 1st
Well,
is Saturday.
yeah, I don't know if I can necessarily offer Pedro's time here, but I think he feels that that's coming. Yeah, but if you want to host the show, we can come to you, or if you want to come to us, that's all right, Pedro. You got time on a Saturday?
Actually, no. Remember, I have a woman now.
Oh God. Okay.
And I
Pedro's
see-
got a girlfriend.
I-
Everybody.
I see her on the weekends, man.
I tried.
Hey,
I'm
that's
sorry.
important. It's important.
Yeah, I see her.
Yeah.
That's why we changed the time for today.
Fair enough.
I think I'm exposing myself now. I feel new, Ginge.
Nah,
Thank you.
that's all right, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so good stuff, Nandor. Thank you for joining us today, buddy.
Yeah, dude.
Really appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me, guys. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, dude. It was the book looks awesome. You've been a gracious guest. Like, dude, it's been a blast. Thank you so much, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. And if anybody wants to contact you, I've got your Twitter in the description, and also the link to the Kickstarter for all those listening. So y'all hop on in and get you a copy. I'm going to bump Nandor to the back here, and then we're going to end the show off. Boom. Hang on.
Right.
There we go. Hello. All right, everybody. Another great show. I want to thank Nandor
it was
for
awesome.
joining us.
Yeah, I liked it.
Also, I just want to say, guys, definitely check it out. I've already put my money where my mouth is on this series, so definitely check it out. Good stuff.
Rex,
great art. Great
Rex,
story.
I'm not Rex. I'm not in love with Mandy, but I would love to be Del Kion. Okay, so I don't know.
Yeah,
what
I
you're
guess you could
talking
have
about,
worse
man.
problems, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so.
Yeah.
All righty, gang. So next week we got Frog G popping in to hopping on into our lily pad here, making a splash in our pond. What else can we do?
Yeah.
All right, nothing.
Let's
Okay, crickets, good.
No.
All right,
crickets.
Okay, everybody. So we will catch y'all next week on the Ginge Pedro Show. Peace.
See you.